And this here is the miniature that we're going to be starting painting today. We'll be setting up the base tones. We'll be setting up the base tones ready for the oils in the next video. So here we go. Here is the miniature. I have already primed it, and I have done a zenithal highlight from above on the orc, and I've done a reverse from a nadir from below highlight on the smoke. So it's black on top, as you can see there. There's me pointing to the black on top, and the white from directly below. I would like the glow coming from beneath. So here we go. Contrast paint. Orc flesh. Fantastic. Got the face on this one to do. So here we go. Load the brush up. Ideally, I'd like to get it all in one brush load. And ideally, I would like to get the miniature more in the center of the screen. I did change position of the camera from the normal position, and unfortunately I am not quite used to that, so I do apologise. But let's get the green on. I find this is an excellent way to get miniatures quickly painted. There's the face done. Now we're going to get the body. Are we going to do it on camera? There's the smoke. Probably going to fast forward through a lot of this because it's just literally laying down base tones. And here we go. It's going to fast forward through this now. I should say, when putting the contrast paints on, it does pay to be as neat as possible. You are putting the paint on very thickly, but you want that paint on the thing that you want to paint that color. If you smush that paint on, for example, the orc's wristband, which is going to be painted a different color, you want to make sure you try and clean that up quickly, and you may have to go over that with a tiny bit of white again. And here we go with the entire body all painted green. Haven't made too many mistakes. That wristband has a tiny bit of spillage on, but I'm not going to worry too much. Obviously the face is done in the top corner. Now here we go, next colour. GW Contrast Skeleton Horde. I'm going to load the brush up, and I'm going to paint this bone part of the staff first. Well, you can see we started painting it on camera and then it slowly drifted off. Fantastic work, Badger. Anyway, next video, I sincerely hope is going to be better. Now we're going to work on the skull part of the staff. Get the paint on as quickly as possible. That is the plan. Maybe more fast forwarding now. You can see here we have started painting the horns, or the tusks. Slightly off camera again. And off camera again we go. Now if it pulls up too much, you do want to wick it away as quickly as possible. Obviously, you do want it pulling up, but there's only so much you want pulled up. It's kind of a thing you have to practice doing yourself. You'll get a feel for it, but you don't want to start manipulating the paint after it's started to dry. Otherwise, it will start to peel away. So you've got to be kind of quick with it. And what paint do we have next? GW Contrast Snakebite Leather is up next. We've got some leather straps to do around the horns, various leather bits and pieces here and there. We might even do some on camera. What are we going to start with first, Badger? We're wildly waving the brush around. And let's... Go on. No? Go on. Got to start somewhere. The strap on over the chest holding is the pouch. So... It has been painted, although I have put a label saying what colour paint we're using, but it has been painted. Just want to get this done quickly, just to tone everything, and then the real work kind of happens with the next stage when it comes to oil painting, with removing the oil paint once we've tinted the surfaces. Got the leather straps around the top of the staff. Lovely jubbly. What else do we have? The leather straps holding the tusks onto the skull for some reason. Anyway, that's lovely. Nicely off camera. Well done, Badger. And now we've got GW Contrast Wyldwood. That's going to be for the actual staff wooden bit right here. Smack this on. Nice dark colour. Make sure the brush is suitably loaded up. I don't really like going back and forth from the pot to the miniature too many times when using contrast paints. Oh, bit of smoke in the way. Suffice to say, that's that bit. Are we going to remember to do the bit under the skull? That bit there. Oh yes, it looks like we are. Well done. Nice move. Bit around the back. There we go. Lovely jubbly. So that's the staff all painted up. We are going to paint the horns shortly. Evidently at this point I forgot for some reason. See, there we go. Did it off camera. Nice one. Now we're using GW Terradon turquoise. Putting that onto the skirt. Lovely colour. So I'm all for using contrast paint, so obviously I use them slightly differently from intended. They also make fantastic glazes. And also I love using them on things like hair. Sort of more organic looking things. There we go, Badger. Now there's a fair old amount there. You're going to wick that away? Not yet. You're going to completely ignore it. Ignoring it. Come on. There we go. Alright, there we go. That's better. Okie dokie. So, let's get these colours knocked out. Fast forward. And here we go with GW Contrast Iyanden Yellow. A delicious yellow colour for the cape, or whatever this thing is. Got a big brush because we've got a large surface area to smack this paint down with. And the quicker we do that, the better. I am apparently trying harder to paint in the middle of the camera, middle of the screen. I think I may have improved since the beginning, but only time will tell. Come on, those bits there need working. There we go. Well done, Badger. That's the one. Now, I think I was at this point mulling over using a darker yellow towards the base, towards like the ends or the edges of the cape. Question is, did I? There's the top of the cape done. We've got these bits here to do. Now, when we get around to doing the reverse side of the cape, like the inside bit, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. There are a couple of bits which will be more obvious, but generally it's all still painted black, primed black, and yellow over, well, yellow contrast paint over black is always going to struggle. We've got a couple of bits between the face and the tusk to do. Am I going to risk doing that with this brush, though? That is a real question that I'm asking myself. There you go. Perfect. Ish. I am going to put paint on there just because I'm going to put paint there. Rather than just leave it all primer, I would like to get some coats of paint down, even if it's not visible. Generally, I like to paint as much of the miniature as I can. I know a lot of people prefer to go by the if you can't see it once it's all stuck together, then you don't need to paint it necessarily. I like to paint as much as I can. Which is why I painted the inside of my Ultramarines rhinos. Like a legend. That looks to be sort of done. Now, what are we going to do here? I see that wristband needs some colour, so for a sort of pseudo gold, I will use this yellow. Another good colour for non-metallic gold, well, whatever you call this. Snakebite leather would be a good choice as well. But apparently I've gone with this version. I was trying to think originally what colour I was going to paint those sort of metal, those teeth-shaped things around his waist. I remember doing a lot of umming and ahhing about that. Because I was trying to find a good colour which would go with the Terradon turquoise. And the cape colour. Going to paint one of these pouches yellow. Can't quite see it because of that label. Well done. And here we go. We started painting on the teeth yellow. That other pouch will get painted a different colour in the end. What am I doing? Loading some more paint up into the brush, I suspect. Yep, there we go. Fantastic. So we're just going to keep doing the teeth this colour. The sword is going to be painted. We're going to use Black Templar, the contrast paint again, to get this sword quickly based out. Right, there it is. Sword. Smack some Black Templar contrast paint down nice and quickly. Easy peasy, he says. Get the reverse side of it, which you're probably not going to see a huge amount of anyway. There we go, lovely. Get the top of the sword handle That needs to be gotten as well. And this metal, this nail. Thankfully I remembered to get that. It's all pretty rough, these base tones. Just to block the colours out. Tidying that up a little bit. And a little bit more. And now we're going to use Vallejo Game Color Heavy Brown. It's a nice opaque color, and we're going to do that onto the base. For some reason we're doing this before we do the smoke. I can't remember why I decided to do this, but that's what we're doing. So it's going to crack on. It's going to take a bit of time, but we will be putting oil paint over this base anyway. So it's just a base coat really, just to get us started. Probably just going to fast forward through this a little bit so that we can get on to the smoke. So here we go. See you in a bit. Righty ho, here we go. So, GW Contrast Volupus Pink, fantastic colour. I love it. We are going to do the smoke. So, I'm going to load the brush up. And we're going to put the Volupus Pink on the downward facing parts of the smoke. The ones, the side which we've basically painted white. We're going to try and get this done as quickly as possible. We've got another colour that we'll use as a on the top side, but we're going to try and get this blocked out as quickly as we can. I'm trying to be somewhat neat with this and vaguely quick at the same time. It's always a conundrum for me. But here we go, we are cracking on with it. It's probably something, smoke is something I don't normally get a chance to paint, so this was a bit of an experiment. I must say I do like how it turned out. And next time I paint either this miniature or smoke, I'll probably give this way of painting smoke another go, because I think it was a bit of a success. Yeah, there's virtually all of the downward facing bits of smoke painted. Now this part is not going to be covered in oil paint at all. This is pretty much the only part which is going to be contrast paint and then shading and highlighting as sort of per normal. And here we are with the Shyish purple, which is like the bit facing upwards. So we just try and blend it all together as sort of vaguely as well as we can while the Volupus pink is still wet and workable. Can't quite see it because I'm painting off camera again. Amazing. Fantastic work. Well done, Badger. You got to pay the maximum tier for Patreon to get that hidden content, folks. It's I know there's a bit of smoke right between the staff, the skull, and the bit of Volupus pink. It's not gone unnoticed by me. I just wanted to get this done first. The sort of shadowy bits, or I don't know what you call it. Get some bit of contrast difference in there. Get a little bit of contrast in there. And some right around the base of the, well, where the skull is. I think the contrast really helps. Not just the contrast paint, the contrast between the bright and the, well, the brighter colour and the shade. It really helps. Just going to hold this upside down for a little bit longer, so the Volupus pink and Shyish purple can kind of blend together a little bit more. We're going to worry about the proper blends later, but I'm liking how it looks so far. If we can keep it looking like that, that would be fantastic. Folks, that's the end of the video for today. I have recorded the next one. I will be putting that up by the end of the month. But I hope that's just it's a basic start today, and setting the groundwork for the next video. Thank you, and I look forward to the next one. Goodbye.